moving on to the South. I love the South because of the food, not so much of the people or the weather. Florida is different. I lived in Florida for some time, and I have mixed feelings about the state. Like, I used to be like, oh my God, Miami, I just love going to Miami. And then, I don't know, I feel like the more I go there, the more like, I feel like, oh God, Los Angeles is so much better than Miami. But last time I was there, I went to go see the Miami Vice event. So I flew from Boise, Idaho to Miami in September, and I was pregnant. But I said, I gotta go see these people. I gotta go have this experience. I was the biggest fan of Miami Vice since I was a teenager. And you know, they just welcomed me with open arms, and I dressed so 80s, had my hair, the makeup, the fingerless gloves, the earrings. I just looked so cool that night, and I would not give up that night for anything, even though I'm not a big fan of Miami anymore. And the rest of the state, I can't say much about it because I guess I'm not that much a fan of Florida anymore. I went to the Everglades maybe 4 years ago, and it was like February. It was like this time around, and it was dead. There was nothing there. There was no animals. The trees were dead. And Orlando's okay, but I'm just not a fan of Florida anymore. I'll take California any day. Georgia. I love Savannah. Savannah is a really quaint city, a quaint town. It feels like it's like in a storybook or something, and just like Charleston. But Savannah it's a lot smaller than Charleston. I know people make the comparisons all the time, but I feel like Charleston, there's a lot more to do. But maybe the people in Savannah are nicer than people in Charleston. The houses, the architecture, oh, I love that area of the South a lot. You know, people talk about Atlanta, but I feel like Savannah is a lot. It's a lot more quaint and quiet. It's by the water. Savannah is a really special place. Charleston, I love Charleston, South Carolina. So when I was a teenager, we traveled the South. And when I was there, I was like, oh God, I hate North Carolina. I hate South Carolina. But that's because we didn't go to Charleston. Had we gone to Charleston, that would have changed everything. And I was there maybe 2-3 years ago, and I absolutely fell in love with that place. I was meaning to only be there for like maybe 3 or 5 days. I ended up staying there for 2 weeks. I ended up staying in South Carolina for 2 weeks. And the rent is really cheap over there. I was like, oh my God, I'll get myself an apartment. I'll start living over there. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. But yeah, it's a really cool place. And for me, like, I'm an East Coast girl, but when I hear people from the East Coast talk about the South, I'm like, that's such disrespect. Why would you give, any credit to the South? Like, you're supposed to be, praising the East. And I was in Charleston. Oh my God. I was like, this is one of the best cities in the entire United States. It's so quaint. It's really nice. The people are friendly. The rent is cheap. The food is cheap. I love Charleston, South Carolina. The architecture. That's one of the places really underrated, but I really love Charleston, South Carolina. Virginia. I'm not a fan of Virginia. There's nothing going on. I feel like states like Maryland. I know there's DC, but certain places like that, Delaware, if people call that the South, I don't know, but Mid-Atlantic, places like that. There's not a lot of things going on in Virginia. It's not my favorite place.